It is Monday, the 21st day of August 2023. Hello there and welcome from me, Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, to Lunchtime News here on UBC TV. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has called upon members of the Afro-Arab Youth Council to prioritize politics of interest for maintaining peace and stability among member nations. He emphasized the importance of promoting ideas centered on interest rather than identity, citing the negative impact of politics based on tribes and religion. During a meeting with the Afro-Arab Youth Council delegation, President Museveni shared his experiences from Uganda's history, highlighting how the country overcame similar challenges by focusing on balanced policies. Now, he stressed the significance of interest-driven ideology and urged the youth to foster cooperation between African and Arab countries. President Museveni pledged support to establish the Afro-Arab Youth Council's international headquarters and advocated for their participation in the Arab-Africa Summit. The Council's President, Dr. Abdul Hadi Lahweji, discussed plans for developmental programs in Uganda, including educational initiatives and medical camps.
Like here in Uganda,
because
we had a long time to debate and discuss,
كان لدينا وقت كفاية من الوقت لمناقشة وحوار.
We have been able to balance all these ideas.
وتمكنا من موازنة هذه الآراء والأفكار.
Like for instance, we really have a 3-language policy.
نحن هنا الآن عندنا سياسة 3 لغات.
We can use English in the offices.
ممكن نستعمل الإنجليزية في المكاتب الرسمية.
But we also use Swahili.
ولكن كذلك في نفس الوقت نستخدم السواحلية
as a regional language
كلغة الإقليم
for East Africa.
لإقليم شرق إفريقيا.
But also especially in the army.
وخاصة في الجيش.
But in the districts.
ولكن في المحافظات والأقاليم.
They use their indigenous languages.
الناس يستعملون لهجاتهم المحلية.
Because they have got their indigenous dialects.
لأن عندهم لهجات محلية.
So in each, there are like 147 small parliaments.
عندنا تقريبا ما يقارب 147 برلمانات.
Called district councils, like where we were yesterday.
فترة كانت في الستينات والسبعينات.
Like you have explained that the 60s and 70s and 80s it was time to fight colonialism.
الآن هي رسالتنا الحفاظ على هذا الاستقلال.
For us, we are saying our mission now as the youth is to preserve that independence.
ومعركتنا هي معركة التنمية ومعركة صناعة الإنسان ومعركة التقدم.
And our battle is now development, capital, human capital development, and to see that how do we improve our people.
ومعركة الوحدة الأفريقية.
Also, our mission is about African unity.
ويعرف الشباب الأفريقي أن المستقبل هو في أفريقيا.
We want the African youth to know that the future of Africa is within their hands.
والعرب اللي العرب في الخليج والعرب الآخرين نريدهم أن يكون المجلس هو جسر.
The Arabs in the Gulf and in all those countries, we are sensitizing them to know that this council is the bridge between the Arab world and the African
ونريد
countries.
شراكة اقتصادية وشراكة ثقافية وتعاون مشترك حقيقي.
We want economic cooperation, we want industrial cooperation, we want that mutual cooperation between us in Africa and
خاصة أن ثلثين العرب هم في القارة الأفريقية.
Especially that 2/3 of the Arabs are in Africa.
ورسالة المجلس هي العمل العربي الأفريقي المشترك.
And our major mission is the joint cooperation and work of the Afro-Arab people.
وفخامة الرئيس احنا نريد أيضا المشاركة في القمة القادمة العربية الأفريقية التي ستكون في السعودية.
And through you, Your Excellency, we want the Council to participate in the Arab Africa Summit that is going to take place
in
Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh.
راعي لهذا المجلس.
Of course, Your Excellency, you are the patron of this council.
وأنت صوت للشباب الأفريقي والعربي في هذه القمة الرسمية.
We are proud of that, and you are a voice of these youth in the Arab world and the African countries.
بالأمس كانت رسائل واضحة استمعنا إلى خطابك بعناية.
And yesterday your message was very clear that you delivered to the youth.
هو الأيديولوجية وبناء الإنسان والتدريب.
It was about education, skills development, and also ideology and good behavior on the part of the youth.
وفي هذا الإطار احنا حنعمل برنامج تدريب الشابات بالتعاون مع وزارة الجندر في أوغندا.
We are designing economic cooperation, we want industrial cooperation, we want that mutual cooperation between us in Africa and
خاصة أن ثلثين العرب هم في القارة الأفريقية.
More especially that 2/3 of the Arabs are in Africa.
ورسالة المجلس هي العمل العربي الأفريقي المشترك.
And our major mission is the joint cooperation and work of the Afro-Arab people.
وفخامة الرئيس احنا نريد أيضا المشاركة في القمة القادمة العربية الأفريقية التي ستكون في السعودية.
And through you, Your Excellency, we want, the Council want to participate in the Arab Africa Summit that is going to take place in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh.
راعي لهذا المجلس.
Of course, Your Excellency, you are the patron of this council.
وأنت صوت للشباب الأفريقي والعربي في هذه القمة الرسمية.
We are proud of that, and you are a voice of these youth in the Arab world and the African countries.
بالأمس كانت رسائل واضحة استمعنا إلى خطابك بعناية.
And yesterday your message was very clear that you delivered to the youth.
هو الأيديولوجية وبناء الإنسان والتدريب.
It was about education, skills development, and also ideology and good behavior on the part of the youth.
وفي هذا الإطار احنا حنعمل برنامج تدريب الشابات بالتعاون مع وزارة الجندر في أوغندا.
We are designing a number of programs in collaboration with the Ministry of Gender for the girl child.
احنا سنوفر المدربين المهرة.
We shall provide experts.
والوزارة ستوفر الأماكن في كل الأقاليم الخمس.
And the Ministry of Gender will facilitate those programs that we shall carry out across the regions in Uganda.
وأيضا الآن نشتغل على حقيبة مدرسية للأطفال لأن التعليم هو الأساس.
We are organizing a caravan where we're going to come and provide school bags for the children, because primary education is very, very important for the development of the country.
تعاون مع رجال الأعمال من أجل توفير 30,000 أو 50,000 حقيبة مدرسية.
We are coordinating.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni there, of course, meeting a delegation from the Afro-Arab Youth Council yesterday. Now, Joshua Cheptegei delivered a devastating last lap to win a third successive World Championship 10,000 meters gold yesterday, despite barely competing over 25 laps in the last 3 years. The world record holder over 5,000 and 10,000 meters has had an injury-hit year and struggled to hit his top form, but on a hot, humid night in Budapest, he broke clear approaching the bell and stamped his authority over the field with a 53-second last lap to come home in 27 minutes, 51.42 seconds. Those are the highlights of the gold medalist there.
And 8 into 3 does not go. Mohamed is producing the best run we've seen from him all year. There's been no clue that he'd be there or thereabouts in this race, judging by his 5,000 metre performances. Training in the United States, I've shared a taxi journey with him to the airport. He's a really likeable character. And Mohamed is definitely still in the shake-up here. But here comes Barega, 600 metres to go. Is this the concerted move? Cheptegei thinks so because he's come wide on the outside. He's almost running in lane 3. But Ebenyo is holding him on the outside.
They all want to get on the shoulder, but no one wants to hit the front. But as we say that, Cheptegei's trying for it now.
2 of the Kenyans have been dropped. And all of a sudden, there's only 5 of them. They take the bell in the final of the men's 10,000 metres. The pride of a nation, Joshua Cheptegei, gunning for glory, gunning for gold, as he did in Doha, as he did in Eugene. Ebenyo's hanging on to that group, but look at Barega, the Olympic champion, is starting to close. Aragawi's tired. Ebenyo coming back into the mix. He now moves up into 3rd. It's the world champion against the Olympic champion. Barega desperate to add this crown to his collection. But Cheptegei wants the 3rd consecutive title. What a run! He's pulling away. Joshua Cheptegei. And what a night here in Budapest. There were question marks over Cheptegei. Everybody thought the Ethiopians had the better of him this year, but when he went to the front with 4:50 to go, he was not to be denied. He really is a one-off champion, once in a generation, and we're privileged to be witnessing his greatness here on the track.
Oh, it's amazing. We said about the Ethiopians they were going to be able to put a 53, 54 second last lap in to try and break Cheptegei. But Cheptegei is the one that put that in to try and break them. And the way he looked down that back straight, so strong. And yeah, he's 3-time world champion now, and true class, true class.
That was about as good as you'd want from a race. The Olympic champion against the defending world champion with 200 metres to go, and fair play to Ebenyo for out-dipping Barega on the line and nicking him for the silver. That was a fabulous race. It's the most intense physical game of chess that our sport offers. I think in some ways, I've run a 10,000 on the track as well as a marathon. I think psychologically there's something so hard about the 10,000 because you have to go so hard to run a decent time. I think it's equally as hard as a marathon in a different way.
It's just a war of attrition, and there's so many chapters within the race that...
Indeed, he wasn't to be denied, and congratulations to Cheptegei and also for making Uganda proud. Now, government has pledged to support farmers with extension services and also link livestock farmers with international breeds with National Agricultural Research Organization to ensure they do crossbreeding with local breeds to improve the quality. Now, during the Farmer Mobilization Expo in Chankwazi District, the Prime Minister, Right Honourable Robin Anabanja, said government encourages artificial insemination.
Netujisa operational wealth creation netujisa mu bitongole bingi abantu abamu era temwafuna muzeyi ne bamugamba abo beegabira bokka abakulembeze n'agamba abo beegabira bokka n'agamba kakati katulabe sente za Paris Development Model tuziteeke ku muluka. Kisanyusiza chairman owa LCC wano bwagambye nti PDM ekola bulungi. Kakati ne tugamba esente zino baziwa omulimi yeefeeko yeegulire. Buli muntu president n'amuwa omutemwa gwa kakadde kamu ak'abalimi musobole okwegulira ensigo. Kakati akakadde aka sente okagulemu ensigo waito kye bayita enterprise mix. Osobola okugula ensigo z'emmwanyi n'osimba n'osigazaako sente endala n'ogamba nti kankole backyard farming oba kanunde embizi bw'oba toli musiraamu, kanunde obukoko bwange nga siri musiraamu nga ndi musiraamu, kankole kino na kiri kubanga twagala abantu batandika okulima, twagala abantu balunde naye ng'olunda olina ki ekibalo. Wuuba lwa muzeeyi.
Because we have been able to show ourselves first of all to the farmers whereas we are trying to have branches in different parts of the country, we have a branch in Mbale, we have a branch in Imbarara, we have a branch in Gulu, we have a branch in Arua. But still, we are not able to reach to farmers closely. But this exhibition has given us an opportunity to interact with farmers now here in Chankwanzi. Yesterday we were in Mubende, Mitiana, and now we are also in Chiboga. We were able to reach out to the farmers. And now I will call upon all farmers to come for our services, that we are closer to you. Now that we have given you our cards, we have given you the leaflets, please come. And that is what we desire. We want to serve the farmers who are difficult to access us. Yes, that's our target.
The Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, has revealed the ministry's plans to establish a transition justice bill looking at war victims fund to cater for all war victims and establish a national dialogue and reconciliation commission to enable Ugandans raise their issues. Now, this was during the launch of the Entebbe Acholi Development Association, where Mao urged politicians to put aside their political differences and focus on the development of the country. Mr. Mao also presented 50 million shillings contributed by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni towards the association's development. Take a watch.
Here, that is our symbol, and we request you to do the cutting of the tape.
There is a transitional justice bill coming, and in that bill, we are establishing a war victims fund that will cater for this cattle compensation. As minister, I don't want that money in my ministry budget. I want it to be in a separate fund to cater for all war victims in Uganda, whether it is Luwero, whether it is what. There are so many, and they're all putting pressure on government. The other thing we are going to do is to establish what we call a National Dialogue and Reconciliation Commission. Let Ugandans speak the truth where they are hurting. What is needed now is to bring our energies together the way a magnifying glass concentrates the scattered rays of the sun. That is the role of President Museveni now. He must have that magnifying glass. He is the magnifying glass to bring the rays together. So you ask, so what has NRM and Uganda gained from what DP and Mao have done? Uganda was becoming a pressure cooker. And there could have been an explosion. And there are those who want an explosion. Because an explosion provides opportunity for people. So there are those who want Uganda to explode. So what DP did was to create a vent. A lot of steam has come out. So when you hear people annoyed with me, they are right. Because we have denied them that chance of an explosion. They must be very, very annoyed. I don't blame them. I would also be annoyed if I wanted an explosion and then somebody comes and creates a vent which releases the pressure. Because explosion is built on pressure. So now, I foresee that many more vents are going to be created so that we diffuse the tension and we talk as Ugandans. Now is the time when we must come together, because you hear the World Bank has made proclamations. Some donors are now speaking a different language. So all Ugandans, irrespective of whether you are NRM or not, this is the time to come together and put Uganda first.
Now, it is exactly 20 years and 4 days since the third president of the Republic of Uganda, General Idi Amin Dada, died in Saudi Arabia. A memorial lecture is being organized in his honor. Now, the chief organizer of the lecture is former Member of Parliament, Obongi County, Hassan Kaps Fungaru, who says the engagement is meant to bring Amin's history to life.
Tanzania, ndugu ya Uganda.
A lot has been written and said about him. From the bad, the good and the ugly. Movies have been acted depicting him in the light of a despot and ruthless dictator who ruled Uganda for 8 years with an iron fist.
walikuwa bado wanasimama na kupima pima ile ya uongo.
Music has been composed to show the general life of General Idi Amin Dada, both as president of Uganda and as an army officer. But is this all that the world knows or needs to know about General Idi Amin? This is just one of the questions that the inaugural Idi Amin Memorial Lecture seeks to address.
The image of Idi Amin has been negatively branded to the extent that he was portrayed as a bad person, a bad thing, not to be touched, not to be talked about, and the people feared to talk about Idi Amin, in more so to organize a memorial lecture.
According to former Obongi County Member of Parliament, Hassan Kaps Fungaro, not everything written and said about President Idi Amin is necessarily true.
Most of the things which are written are based on the negative branding of Idi Amin. That this was a butcher, Idi Amin was a killer. Some even went to the extent of telling people that Idi Amin ate human flesh, that he ate one of his sons, and yet the son has been living up to today. We've been hearing about these things. So, talking about Idi Amin in that bad light and talking about Idi Amin in the good light has prompted critical thinkers to ask questions. How was Idi Amin?
This is happening 44 years after the former president was overthrown in 1979, fleeing to Saudi Arabia, where he lived in exile until he passed on 20 years ago. The memorial lecture is set for early September 2023 at Muni University in Arua City.
You find there are people who will stand up, who will speak out strongly in support of Idi Amin, and there are others strongly speaking against it.
Let's take a short break and we'll be returning with much more. Stay with us.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Capote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Capote deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Capote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Introducing the Infinix Note 30 series in partnership with Airtel Uganda, a smartphone where style meets functionality. Take charge of the day with special features like the 108MP triple camera and 68 watts first charge, and the best part is you can use this phone to charge other phones. You also will enjoy free 3GB from Airtel every month for 3 months on each new device purchased. Dial *100#, select data and devices to get your free data. The Infinix Note 30 series spark a connection in partnership with Airtel. A reason to imagine.
Welcome back, and this is Lunchtime News here on UBC TV. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. And now moving further afield, we go to the United States of America, where President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are scheduled to visit Maui this Monday to assess the impact of wildfires that reduced parts of Hawaii's second largest island to smoldering ash.
Section of the town is destroyed. All the historic buildings. Lahaina used to be the capital of all of Hawaii. Even the boats in the harbor were burned down to the water. They're gone.
What started as a brush fire quickly escalated amid a perfect storm of high winds and dry conditions that scorched the historic town of Lahaina in Maui, burning much of this commercial and cultural hub to the ground. Maui's emergency chief Herman Andaya resigned during the disaster amid criticism for not sounding. U.S. Army and National Guard joined search and rescue teams, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, says relief efforts have so far been a success.
Right now, the search efforts are 78% complete in Lahaina town, and we continue to have our teams on the ground going through all of the structures that were lost as a result of this fire.
To Pakistan now, where authorities in Pakistan have arrested at least 170 people after a mob of Muslims attacked churches and homes belonging to the Christian community in the city of Jaranwala in the most populous province, Punjab. The attack came as allegations of desecration of the Quran by two Christian men emerged Wednesday, August 16th. Police have arrested the two accused, but as residents return to scenes of devastation and authorities ramp up efforts to return normalcy, some victims of the attack say they may never feel safe again.
They have left. Crews are working to restore electricity, while the provincial government has promised rehabilitation of this area within days. But looking at the extent
in this are punished, such acts will continue to happen.
Despite several mob attacks against Christians in the past.
Now, a ZANU-PF activist is confident that President Emerson Mnangagwa will beat CCC's Nelson Chamisa and others in the presidential poll on August the 23rd. Take a watch.
1814 and 18. Inini ndikuona musi wa23 tiri kuina zvine mutsindo development and empowerment ari kubetsera ndikusimudzira vanhukadzi vese nevavendors nevanhu vakawanda kudaro saka president wedu number 1 president wedu is behind each and everybody and is leaving nobody behind hapana ari kusiya kumashure
tomboti taenda kusarudzo paya asi maona kuti aiwa hazvina kufamba zvakanaka kukanzura hazvina kufamba zvakanaka makundwa kuna MP chero kuna president makundwa muchakwanisa kuzvigamuchirawo here kuti ndo zvaitika izvi
zvekukundwa izvi handinoona tichikundwa because we campaigned takakampena zvine mutsindo saka zvekukundwa
Upgrade your lifestyle with the all-new entry-loaded Chillax voice bundles. Now, call all networks in Uganda with Chillax voice bundles. Call all networks, no expiry, no worries. Dial *100 *1# and select call all networks. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Sports news now, and England's wait to win a first Women's World Cup title goes on after Spain deservedly triumphed in the final in Sydney. The Lionesses, looking to become the first England senior side since the men's team in 1966 to win the World Cup, suffered heartbreak after being outplayed by a Spanish side full of flair and creativity. England's players fell to their knees in tears at the final whistle as Spain celebrated inside their penalty area after dealing with the final corner kick in the 14th minute of nerve-wracking stoppage time. And the celebrations continued throughout the night in Spain after that World Cup triumph. And that story brings us to the end of this edition of Lunchtime News here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed afternoon.